Just a few steps separated them, yet their messages worlds apart. Today, both sides of the gun debate chose to use the Georgia State Capitol to rally supporters. The group that was rallying for change today says it's only pushing for background checks for right now. Channel 2's Lori Geary was at today's rally where she got both sides of the heated debate.
The dark shadow of violence can hit any of us at any time.
This group of folks fighting for tougher gun laws want both of Georgia's Republican U.S. senators to reconsider their no votes on the most recent gun bill.
We want background checks for every gun sale.
These advocates are part of New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg's group focused on more extensive background checks for all gun buyers, including individual sales.
And I really don't think that it's too much to ask. I think we should make it a little harder for criminals to get guns.
The thing that nobody wants to talk about over here is there's not a criminal around that's going to go through that background check. They're going to go buy a stolen gun, or they're going to buy one, or they're going to steal one themselves.
Jerry Henry is president of GeorgiaCarry.org and helped to get the word out to his group and other gun rights organizations to show up at the Georgia Capitol as a counter-protest. We were there as the two sides clashed.
But there are instances, as we know well, where people shouldn't have guns. So what I'm suggesting is that we need to apply reasonable restrictions. Who gets to decide? We all get to decide.
Gun rights advocates, many toting their weapons, say the current laws provide enough protection.
I guarantee you, if they were at home and somebody was breaking in their house, they'd wish they had a firearm.
But the supporters of tougher gun control laws say mass shootings like the one in Newtown bring more Americans to their side.
Those children in that classroom are my children. They're your children. They're your grandchildren. And every moment that you spend fighting will be for them.
The supporters of tougher gun control laws say their focus right now is just on background checks because they say they know a comprehensive gun bill would be difficult to pass Congress. Reporting live from the state capitol, Lori Geary, Channel 2 Action News.
Advocates for gun legislation in Washington bringing their campaign to the state capitol here in Atlanta.
But as Fox 5 Paul Yates reports, gun rights supporters were also at the Capitol with their own message.
Both sides talked about federal gun legislation here at the state capitol today. Both sides hope that Georgia Senators Saxby Chambliss and Johnny Isakson are listening.
We're talking about people who have access to guns that shouldn't.
And I'm just curious why you believe that we should forfeit our right to protect ourselves.
The debate got underway early outside the state capitol.
Brandon Chafin, age 19, was killed with a gun on May 19th.
Advocates read the names of gun violence victims and called for new efforts to strengthen background checks for gun purchases. Speakers included relatives of gunshot victims.
Our grief is unbearable at times, and we pray no parent ever has to endure the burial of their child.
The U.S. Senate defeated gun legislation in April, but this month supporters made new attempts to revive the measure. Gun rights supporters stood nearby at the Capitol, some of them carrying their own firearms. They say existing laws are strong enough if properly enforced.
We think we should enforce the laws as we are now, but you know, these folks here, they want to take away the guns from the honest people. They want to take away guns and keep individuals from defending themselves. That's what they're all about.
The event was organized by Mayors Against Illegal Guns, which was founded by New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Some national Democratic leaders believe stronger gun legislation will eventually be approved. But for that to happen, several U.S. senators would have to change their votes. At the state capitol, Paul Yates, Fox 5 News.
Gun rights supporters push for a change in Georgia law this year, allowing licensed owners to carry guns in more places, including college campuses. But that bill did not win final approval at the state capitol.
The supporters of tougher gun laws clashed at the Georgia Capitol with supporters of gun rights. That happened today. And Channel 2's Lori Geary was there to see the emotional pleas and heated debates, and Lori's live at the state capitol.
Well, Justin, we saw firsthand just how much passion there is from both sides of this issue and not a lot of room for compromise. Supporters of tougher gun laws gathered here at the state capitol. Gun rights advocates were eager to greet them with their own message.
Background checks! Background checks! No more lies!
Both sides of the debate stood just a few feet from each other. On the steps of the state capitol, families who lost loved ones joined others fighting for tougher gun laws.
I guarantee you, if they were at home and somebody was breaking in their house, they'd wish they had a firearm.
But on the sidewalk, you could see the gun rights advocates toting their weapons and their own messages.
I look at the other side over there as just misinformed folks.
We were there as both sides clashed during a heated debate.
You want to tell me that I can't have a gun, right?
No, I never
If
said
I was a
that.
teacher at a school, you want to tell me I can't have one?
I never.
So you agree if I was a teacher at a school, I should have the right to have one?
I don't think guns belong in schools.
May I?
Catherine Grant stood her ground for a while with the gun rights advocates before joining her group, part of New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg's Mayors Against Illegal Guns.
This is ridiculous. Bloomberg?
Georgia is one of 25 states on the group's bus tour. Now, we were wondering where the Bloomberg bus was. We asked the group. They told us it broke down, and we'll rejoin them on our next stop in Nashville. Now, there's also a reason why this group says it's only working on tougher and more difficult background checks, and I'll be working on that angle of the story over the next hour and bring you much more coming up on Channel 2 Action News at 6. For now, reporting live from the state capitol, Lori Geary, Channel 2 Action News.
The debate over gun control and gun rights was front and center at the state capitol today. Supporters of stricter federal gun laws spoke out at a rally, and they were greeted by opponents who were armed with more than just strong opposition.
We invite
Gun control advocates
What about everybody else's rights?
and gun rights supporters squared off at the state capitol today.
We're just asking for the minimum things for gun violence control.
They want to disarm this country.
They appeared at the National Drive to Reduce Gun Violence bus tour rally sponsored by Mayors Against Illegal Guns. It's a 25-state tour pushing for mandatory federal background checks for people who want to buy guns.
We should make it harder for criminals to get guns. And right now, they don't need a black market for guns because they will go to a gun show where they don't need a background check.
Kimberly Brusk is a gun violence survivor. Her then husband shot at her when she filed for divorce.
He had no business having a gun, and I think that, if he'd had to go through a background check, he may not have got a gun. Background checks do stop gun purchases.
I agree, criminals shouldn't have guns, and people who are mentally incompetent shouldn't have guns. But law-abiding citizens deserve the right to be able to defend themselves however they see fit.
Joni Gomo is a relatively new gun owner who recently became a certified shooting instructor. She's leery of efforts to further restrict gun ownership.
I believe in my Second Amendment rights, and I don't believe in being intimidated out of them.
None of us have walked over and grabbed anyone's guns, and no one's talking about pulling guns out of any gun owner's hands. We just want to make sure that the mentally ill, domestic violence, and felons don't have guns.
Atlanta is the sixth stop on the National Drive to Reduce Gun Violence bus tour. The next stop is in Nashville, Tennessee, Wednesday morning.
About 50 or 60 people showed up today to support the National Drive to Reduce Gun Violence here at the state capitol. But they were not alone. An equally large number showed up here on the steps to oppose them, saying we already have plenty of tough gun laws. The rally is part of a 25-state bus tour organized by Mayors Against Illegal Guns. Its highlight is a reading of a long list of names of gun violence victims.
Anton Johnson, age 39.
A coalition of pro-gun groups showed up to counter-protest, many carrying firearms, and the rally soon turned into a shouting match.
No more names! No more lies! No more names! No more lies!
Rally organizers say they're not against the Second Amendment, but only want tighter restrictions like background checks for all gun buyers. One of them is Lucia Macbeth, whose 17-year-old son, Jordan Davis, was a gun victim.
We believe that there should be common sense universal background legislation. That is something that is easily done. That is something that makes sense.
Pro-gun opponents pointed out background checks are already required for commercial gun purchases.
There's not a criminal around that's going to go through a background check. So what good is it? I mean, they've already got it illegal. They're already illegal, so they're going to carry a gun, and we expect them to follow the laws? I don't think so.
The pro-gun counter-protesters also claim some of the names of the so-called gun violence victims being read at these rallies were actually criminals killed by the police or law-abiding citizens. No one at this rally was prepared to defend the accuracy of the list. They referred us to Mayors Against Illegal Guns, who has yet to reply to our email.
Gwendolyn Hyatt, age 58.
Paul Crawley, 11 Live News.